Well, we're going to talk today about the financial situation that our country and world finds ourselves in. I want to start by saying just a word of welcome. Maybe you have been a part of this church a long time, but maybe you're just visiting this weekend. Maybe you're in kind of a spiritual search mode. And our hope is that this will be a helpful weekend for everybody that's here. Because these are unusual times. A friend of mine was on a flight to New York City last week, and the pilot came on the intercom. Usually when that happens, the pilot talks about estimated time of arrival or what the weather's going to be like, or it's a call to put on seatbelts. This time the pilot came on and said, "We're at the close of business day. Let me give you a market update." You ever hear that on a plane before? Like, the market may crash, but the plane will land safely. So, by comparison, we ought to look really good. These are turbulent times. Banks and investment firms getting swallowed up or going down in flames after sometimes 150 years. Government pledging a $700 billion bailout plan and then another $250 billion to try to keep banks solvent. Stock market dropping 18% in 1 week and over 40% in a year. And then the crisis becomes global. This is in Reuters. This is hard to get your arms around. In the last 12 months, $12.4 trillion of global stock market wealth has evaporated. $12 trillion that was around a year ago, gone today. Crisis is so global that Iceland, even countries usually pretty isolated, Iceland has had to nationalize 2 of its largest banks and is hoping for a loan from Russia to keep the economy going. And you see signs of desperation everywhere. Last week I went to buy a toaster and it came with a bank. I have to think about that one for just a moment. Yeah, they actually applauded at 8 o'clock, believe it or not. A lot of gallows, no, that's cheap applause. A lot of gallows humor floating around these days. Somebody said this to me via the internet. What's the capital of Iceland? $3.50. I know. You want to hear one more? We just kind of need it. All right. What's an optimistic banker? What's the definition of an optimistic banker? A banker who irons 5 shirts on Sunday. Okay, never mind. There's a lot of anger, a lot of hostility floating around. I feel lots of it in this room right now. People angry at corporations, angry at leaders for not leading, angry at politicians. How do we get in this mess? Angry at greed, angry at corruption. One company, this story was all over the place, received $85 billion influx of cash from the government, and the next step was to take some of their top earners on this kind of resort, a retreat at a resort spa for $440,000. And people's blood just boiling at this stuff. A lot of loss. This is in the New York Times. The ex-CEO of AIG, Maurice Greenberg, saw the value of his holdings drop $15 billion in 1 day. Went from multi-billionaire to like a millionaire in 1 day. Now that's a bad day. You get home from work, your wife asks you, how'd your day go, honey? Well, had a really good lunch, but lost $15 billion. And then a lot of people in a much more ordinary place just going through loss. A lot of people carefully planning for the future have had their future interrupted. A lot of people a few months ago were looking forward to retirement and now are facing a new reality. Some in this room that the finish line's a lot farther off. A lot of people who thought they knew a few months ago how they're going to put their kids through college don't know how they're going to do it today. A lot of fear. One man told me about his business partner, very astute guy financially, so concerned about the banks, he took all of his cash out of the bank and bought gold and put the gold in a safety deposit box because he doesn't know if the bank's going to be there. A lot of people who have lost their job are feeling the stress and fear. What if I can't find something? Folks coming up here this weekend to talk and pray about that. A lot of people who have jobs are wondering if the job will still be there in 6 months. A lot of people who just wanted a home of their own to live in for them and their family. They thought they had one. And today they don't know where they're going to live. A lot of people wondering, what do I say to our kids? And what I think we see right now is a lot of uncertainty. People wondering, not just concerned about how bad things are right now, but what's going to happen? How low will it go? Where's the future headed? And so people keep asking investors and market analysts and CEOs and financial specialists. You can't open up a newspaper, turn on a television set without seeing, because everybody's got a forecast, everybody's got an opinion, everybody's got some guess about what's going to happen. And so we thought this would be a good time to look at what does the smartest man about money in the world have to say about what we're going through. Y'all know who is the smartest person in the world about money? No, it's not Warren Buffett. This is a church. The answer is Jesus, for crying out loud. It's always, golly. People skip Warren Buffett. Give me a break. Golly. A lot of people don't think about Jesus this way, but among other things, his number one topic was the kingdom of God. He talked about, the presence of God, kind of person God is, what God is doing in this world, up there, coming down here, God's kingdom coming here. But his second most prominent topic was actually money. Because Jesus was a really, really smart person. And he knew how the human heart works. And he knew how, part of why money is so important is it's kind of where our values, spiritual reality gets kind of fleshed out, gets made concrete. And so it goes right to the core of who we are and where we live. And he had a lot to say about it. And so I thought this would be a really good weekend to talk about what might Jesus say if he was here in these days that we're going through. And I think Jesus would want to shatter a few myths. I think he would say that this season is a real good time to dispel a few myths around money. And then get to a few action steps that'd be really good for us to take. First thing I think Jesus might say is this would be a real good time to expose the myth that money can ever make anybody secure. I think it would be a real good time to shatter once and for all for us the financial security myth. Sometimes when life is going the way that we want, when the ticker is all up, when the charts are going to the right, we live as if we have the right to expect that the economy is going to expand annually at 7%. We live as though we have the right to expect our bodies to get younger, smoother, stronger, and slimmer as we age. We live as though we have the right to expect houses in California to drop in price when we want to buy one and then increase in value 30% every year. We live as if a large enough savings account, a low enough mortgage, and a safe enough 401k can make us secure. And they can't. Now, we're never in control. But when a crisis comes, like 9/11, or the bottom falling out of the stock market, or what's going on right now, when a crisis comes, the reason everybody panics isn't that bad things happen, because bad things always happen. Bad things happen every day. The reason that everybody panics in a crisis like this is the myth of security is exposed. And all of a sudden, we all realize our vulnerability. Now, the reality is we're always vulnerable. Every day our life is suspended by a thread. But we can usually live in the illusion of security. And when a panic like this comes, we face the truth. That's what's going on right now. Now, the pain is not good. But the realization of the truth, to be liberated from the illusion of control, that can be really good. And in fact, Jesus is frequently going after this one with folks because he knows how money works. And so he tells stories like one time about an affluent guy who has a year of windfall profits, a great financial season. A certain rich man, Jesus said to himself after this windfall season, "Self, you have laid up plenty for yourself. Now, take life easy. Eat, drink, be merry." But God said to this man, "You fool, this very night your life will be required of you. Then who will get all that you have stored up for yourself?" And the punchline, Jesus says, is, "So it is for all those who store up good things for themselves, that they think make them so secure, but are not rich toward God." I'll give you the best investment advice you will ever receive, and you are not likely to hear it from Warren Buffett. And here it is. You're going to die.